Hello, my friends. Teresa McGallicher here from the Miracles Tribe, coming on live to talk to you some more about A Course in Miracles and the timeline and how whatever stories you believe in are so powerful influencing how your life goes, So I wanted to expand a little bit on the Facebook Live that I did last week, where I talked about how everything that has happened in your past has led you to this point, and how what you are experiencing in life now is a result of all your past thoughts, your past beliefs, and your past actions, which I said is both the good news and the bad news, because it means that you only have yourself to hold accountable for where you are now and what you are experiencing in life. However, you only have yourself to hold accountable, and therefore you can change the things that you're thinking now. You can change the way that you are perceiving life now, and that means going forward in the future, you can have a completely different experience. But what I want to explain today is how, even though all of those things that happened in the past have brought you to this point, that the past actually never happened. And it is our belief in the past and our faith that we put into the past that keeps us trapped in this looping cycle where we keep experiencing the same kinds of things over and over again. And by that I mean negative things. If you're experiencing peace and joy and bliss all the time, keep on doing whatever you're doing. You're on the right track. But that is not the experience for most people. Most of us have issues. We have emotional pain. We have some suffering that we endure, and we can't figure out how to get out of it. So here's the secret. I'm going to tell you how to get out of it. It all stems from where you put your attention, your focus, and your energy. And if you are spending a lot of time thinking about things that happened in the past, you are wasting your attention, time, and energy on something that has no value. The past is gone. It's not coming back. You can't repeat it. You can't go back there. You can't visit the past. You can't hold the past in your hand. It's an illusion in your mind. It is an ephemeral thing that came and went, comes and goes, and it's not actually happening right now except in your mind. So the deal is, most of us don't question our belief in the past. We don't question our belief in the stories that we tell ourselves about what happened to us once upon a time. And this is so important, because what you will find when you talk to other people who were there when you were there, experiencing the exact same event that you are experiencing, they have completely different memories. So I want to share a story. I've shared this story before. Forgive me if you've heard it before and it bores you, but I think it's so valuable to demonstrate how we can stay trapped in the past without even realizing it. So when I was about 12 years old, I was in a beauty pageant, and I danced as my talent in this competition. And I was very nervous about performing on stage, and I practiced this dance on my own in my bedroom. I didn't practice in front of anybody. I didn't share it with anybody, because I had this idea that it might jinx my performance in some way. And when the beauty pageant took place, I got up on the stage. My mom was working the record player, and she started the music, and I started dancing. And all of a sudden, I became overcome with stage fright, and I forgot my entire routine. And I blanked. So I thought, oh gosh, I need to just keep making moves up and pretending like I know what I'm doing here. And that worked for a few minutes. But then I realized that I was not going to be able to keep dancing until the end of the song. So I turned around to my mom on the stage and I said, Mom, turn the music off. I forgot my routine. And she said, no, keep going. You're doing great. And I was like, no, I don't remember the moves. Just turn the music off. And she said, okay, go back out on the stage and curtsy. So that's what I did. And then I left the stage. And I had such sinking feeling in my heart, because I knew that I had to go back out onto the stage for the evening gown portion of the competition. and look poised and confident and smile. And I didn't want to do that, but I had to do it. And I knew there was absolutely no way that I was going to win the pageant or even place because I had screwed up so badly. So I did that. And that memory stuck in my memory bank as sort of a traumatic event, sort of an upsetting event for many, many years. And then eventually I actually forgot about it. But what I realized later on in life was that I never was comfortable speaking on stage, speaking to groups, even giving presentations in school where I had to perform in front of people, because that memory, that fear of failing in front of a group was like in my cellular memory, right? It was like wedged in there since I was 12 years old. So while I was doing this forgiveness work of A Course in Miracles, this subject came up one day, and I thought, I'm going to ask people what they remember about this event, because I remembered it very clearly exactly what happened. So I called my mom. I said, hey, Mom, remember when I was in that beauty pageant when I was 12 years old and I forgot my routine and I asked you to turn the music off? And she was like, not really. Like, kind of vaguely remember you were in a pageant, but don't remember much about it. So then I called my sister, who was also there and also performed in the pageant. And I was like, hey, do you remember this incident? And she was like, oh, I remember what I did for my talent. I remember the music that I performed to and the costume that I wore, but I really don't remember anything about your performance. And then I called my cousin, who was also in the pageant with me and who had won. And I said, hey, do you remember what happened with my talent portion? And she was like, oh, I remember I played the piano, I played the entertainer, and I won, and I got to go on to, the next level of the pageant. And I think I remember your sister was in the pageant. Didn't she have an orange costume? But I don't really remember what you did. And my mind was blown. I was like, wow, I've stayed trapped in this story from this memory that I failed on stage for literally 40 years. And nobody else remembered it. No one else remembered. So did it really happen? Did it happen the way that I remembered? And does it even matter? It didn't matter to any of those people. It only mattered to me. I made it very important. I gave it importance. And the Course says that everything only has the meaning that we give to it. So I reframed that whole story to, I don't even know what happened. Like, if 3 out of 4 people don't remember it, maybe my memory is warped. Maybe I didn't have a clear perspective on what happened. And obviously it didn't mean anything. It only meant something to me. It didn't mean anything to anybody else. Nobody else is walking around as an adult saying, wow, that Teresa McGallicher can't perform on stage. She's got stage fright, something terrible. Like, nobody ever gave it a second thought except for me. And why? Why did I carry that memory with me and punish myself for years thinking I'm a failure in this way? It's only the ego that wants us to be miserable and unhappy. So I was able to release that story, let go of that story, and tell myself a completely different story, which is, hey, I like coming on here on Facebook and talking to all you great people, and it's fun and I enjoy it. And if I forget what I'm planning to say, well, stuff happens sometimes. It's not a crisis. It's not the end of the world. So the point that I want to make here with this story is that the stories that we tell ourselves from our past, from our memory, we give them a lot of value and we give them a lot of meaning, but they don't have to mean anything at all. The Course says, I will not value what is valueless. And who determines that something that happened, that supposedly happened in the past, is meaningful or valuable? You do. So if something happened in your past, you got divorced, or you lost a job, or your house burned down, whatever that story is, you are the one who gets to decide, does it really mean anything significant? Is it really important? Was it really a valuable experience? Or was it just something that happened? And can I see it differently? And then once you're able to look at those stories from your past and say, oh, they don't have to mean anything important or valuable. They don't have to have been this big incident that formed my personality and sent me in a certain direction and forced me to end up with the life that I have today. When you can reframe those stories, you can, I mean, anything is possible then, right? You can live in a world of infinite possibilities, and you can tell yourself any story you want. And this is how affirmations work. So a lot of people don't like to do affirmations because they start telling themselves these positive thoughts. You know, I'm successful, I'm happy, I'm beautiful, I'm healthy, whatever it is. And then they kind of feel like liars because deep down inside they don't really feel successful or happy or beautiful or healthy or whatever it is. And they feel like they're just pretending to tell themselves something that isn't true. And what I'm telling you here is that the truth in the ego world is always relative. There's a higher truth. There's a higher truth in this at the spiritual level, which is that everything is perfect. Everything is always working out according to God's plan. And then there's this relative truth at the ego level, which is that some things are good, some things are bad, and we live in this world of duality. And in that relative world of truth, you get to choose what the truth is. You get to choose, am I successful or am I a failure? Because honestly, you can go back into your past, and for every incident that I could find where I failed, I can find 20 other examples of where I succeeded. So why do I let that one story define me? I can swap that one story out for a whole bunch of other stories for the time that I won the spelling bee. I could just remember that story instead. So where you give your attention and your focus, the thoughts that you choose to focus on and remember and tell yourself are true are extremely powerful. Extremely powerful, because that determines your experience in life. If I was to go around telling myself all my life, I'm a failure, I can't do things, I forgot my routine, I have stage fright, I'm not a good speaker, blah, 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 that is the experience I will continue having into the future. And when I healed that story, released that story, realized that I didn't know the truth of what really happened, that I just had a limited perspective based on a 12-year-old's view of the world, and it wasn't the truth, or it wasn't what anybody else remembered, so who knows what happens, then I can replace that story with something else. Like, oh yeah, when I was in the 8th grade, I won the spelling bee for the whole school. I'm successful. I can do whatever I put my mind to. Things work out for me. So tell yourself that story now in the present, and then you'll see your future will go in a different direction. Don't waste your time, energy, and focus obsessing about things that are negative, because you are creating in every moment with your thoughts what happens in your life. Your thoughts are powerful. And one of the things that the Course says is we are much too tolerant of mind wandering. Mind wandering is just letting your thoughts bounce around without realizing the power that they have, and without realizing how you're creating your own reality through allowing your mind to settle on problems. Let your mind settle on things that bring you joy. I hope you have a fabulous week. Thanks for tuning in. It was great seeing you here. And if you're not subscribed to our newsletter, please subscribe. It goes out every week, and you can sign up at www.miraclestribe.com. See ya. Bye-bye.